folks, welcome back to 3 Zen. Bobo here. So I've kind of mentioned it throughout the last 3, 4, 5 months that my wife and I are going PCS here relatively soon. We're moving from North Carolina back to Ohio. There's a myriad of reasons for the move, but at any rate, I'm hoping this is my last PCS. One of the benefits of our move is we'll be trading a 2-story house for a ranch house, and man, am I looking forward to not climbing stairs. I almost feel like I get hypoxia sitting up here on the second floor. But that being said, I was thinking about the move here with everything I had to do and so forth to get ready for it, and the PCS move out of Enid, Oklahoma from Vance to Randolph in 1978 came to mind. It was November 1978. And we had sold our house to a staff sergeant out at the base. Now, I was a captain at the time, but, that's just the way it was. It doesn't really lend too much to the story other than that's who bought the house. Anyway, so we were scheduled to close at one part of the month, and we got things moving along a little bit quicker than we thought. So I reached out to the guy that was going to buy the house, and I said, hey, would you have any problem if we close, say, 3 days early? And he said, oh, no, not at all. Okay, everything was fine to that point. So the blessed day came, and the movers came, and they were foot draggers. Geez, anyway, they were just foot draggers. We had things all pretty well packed up, and about 4 o'clock, we had most of our things still sitting in the garage waiting to be loaded on the truck. The house was empty, and it was fairly well cleaned out. So we had everything sitting in the garage, and I don't know why, I remember there were 11 boxes sitting in the garage, and I was just worn out. I'd been working for 2 or 3 days straight on that house, getting things ready, moving this, that, taking care of the wife and the kids, and the drill. So anyway, had everything done like that. The new owner came over to the house along with his realtor, and I was there, and I looked a mess. I had a dirty T-shirt on, my jeans were. Anyway, I was beat. Anyway, so I said to him, would you be ready to go down to close? I think they close up shop at 4:30 downtown Enid. And he said, my lawyer said not to sign anything until everything is out of the house. And I said, well, it's just all sitting there in the garage. We just have to wait for the movers to put it on the truck and it'd be a done deal. And he says, I'm sorry. He says, I just think it'd be best everything's out of the house. Oh, son of a gun. Okay. So I went over and got a dolly and started moving things out on the front yard or in the driveway. That's out of the house. And the movers were doing their best to get things on the truck, So anyway, I was really hustling that stuff out. It took me maybe 5-10 minutes to get everything out of the garage. I says, we okay now? And he says, I think that'll be fine. So we go down to for the closing, and we're sitting in there, wife and I on one side of the table, the staff sergeant, his wife on the other side of the table, and the realtor doing the talk, and we're all signing things. Now, because I had agreed to, or he had agreed to close early, I agreed to pay for the interest on those 3 days. So we're sitting there, and like I said, I am not in the mood for any blather at this point. I was just, okay. So I'm still thinking about those stupid 11 boxes. Okay, so I reach in, pull out my checkbook, and I start to write a check for those 3 days of interest I'm going to owe to him. And he says, excuse me, Bob. He says, when do you think I can have the check for the 3 days interest? And I lost it. That was it. I lost it. I could remain pretty cool in the airplane, but not on this table that day. So I looked at him and I says, first of all, it's not Bob, it's Captain Holliker. Second of all, you can have your check as soon as I can get this pen across the empty blanks. Oh, I was furious. So I wrote the check and peeled it off and handed it to him, signed everything, and I just turned around and walked out, and I was done. I was glad the house sold and so forth. Wife and went back to Uncle Marty's house where we were staying with the kids, and I had another mission in hand. Now this is November, and it was toward, I think, the end of November, and it was dark in Enid about this time, about 5 o'clock, 5:15, whatever it was. So anyway, I go a couple blocks down, and I knew where this place was. I walk into a feed store. It was still open. It was going to be open till 6, I guess. Anyway, I go walking in this feed store. Do you know how much dandelion seed is in a half a pound? I mean, it's a fairly decent sized bag. And I don't know why I think of this crap, okay? But anyway, I bought a half a pound of dandelion seed. It's just my way of cooling off, I suppose. So I get this dandelion seed, and then I go back to Uncle Marty's house. Now, Uncle Marty lived just around the block from where we used to live. And I get a cold beer, and I tell Uncle Marty I'm going on an Agent Orange mission. So I walk over to the house, and I take this dandelion seed, and I spread it all over the yard. I mean, I had a ball with that. And I don't, it was one of those, I didn't know if anything was going to work or take or whatnot. It didn't matter. It's just my way of venting, I suppose. Went back and forgot all about it. So anyway, I go down to Randolph, and in that next spring, I had a staff assistant visit up at Vance. So we're flying up to Vance. I just requested radar vectors to initial. So I'm coming up initial, and we were about 4 miles out on initial. So I'm coming out, and I just happened to glance over the side of the airplane and see if I could see our old house, and by golly, you could tell which one was ours. It had the prettiest yellow yard you could ever ask for. And I looked down and went, yeah, that was so cool. Rolled up on a wing just so I could savor the look. So anyway, that's one of those things. I just hope that sucker had a nice summer of digging. I'm probably going to get my feet held to the fire for that one too. Anyway, this is Bobo, Base Gear. Stop.